from there, let's go ahead and jump into our next, and that's going to be this right here. It's going to be the Eastern Michigan Central Michigan a rivalry game, MAC game of the week. You have a Central Michigan team that's coming in here 2-2. Eastern Michigan is coming in here 2-2. Over under 47.5. And then you see that the spread is going to be yeah, you got the 7.5 there, and then you see that both these teams are 2-2, and then you look at the situation and you say to yourself, well, it seems like Central Michigan has been a more formidable team here in the early portion of the year. Let's keep it real, and I think that when it really comes down to it, you have a team that may be playing for a little bit more than just, being a middling MAC team. They could be playing for a title. They got a good win against South Alabama last week, beating them 34-30. Okay. New Hampshire, that's a good win over a FCS school that's usually pretty good. And losing to Notre Dame 41-17, that was going to happen, but that was a good measurement to see where they're truly at. But what makes it seem like they might not be that good of a team? They got absolutely crushed by Michigan State, who's been getting taken to the woodshed week in and week out in Big Ten play over the last few weeks. Well, in big time play over the last few weeks, because Washington and Maryland just absolutely wrecked those guys in East Lansing the last 2 weeks. But they're 2-2. And I would say the South Alabama win is a really, really strong win, because South Alabama is a really good team, and they can be a team that contests for the Sun Belt title as well. Eastern Michigan, they've kind of went through the motions a little bit. They only beat Howard by 10 points, and then they got beat by a Minnesota team that's not really that good, but Minnesota winds up beating them 25-6. Then, you know what? They got a good win over a UMass team that's a lot better than they were last season. And pretty much that rolled into the game last weekend with Jacksonville State that I just mentioned, and they lost 21-0. So when you look at the rivalry of this game, that's what makes you say, okay, this is a tough game for both teams, because because these guys go at it. It doesn't really matter what their records are. They hate each other, so they're going to go at it. But this is where I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Central Michigan as the home team with the 7.5. I feel like they win this game by 10 or better. It's just Eastern Michigan is back to being who Eastern Michigan usually is, and that's usually a mediocre team. So let me go ahead and move forward